going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Wednesday, April 29th, 2026, and I have some breaking news to share with you guys. Right now it is 16:34 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Iran and from Europe. So before I get into the Iran news, I wanted to share something very serious that came across my news feed yesterday. So the Polish military just signed a billion-dollar deal to purchase several 100,000 anti-tank mines from a Polish company. So these are domestically produced anti-tank mines. The modern anti-tank mines will be going on the Baobab and Croton scatterable mining systems, which feature full automation and the capability for digital mapping of minefields, giving the army lethal effectiveness. Okay, so the Polish military buying several 100,000 anti-tank mines worth over $1 billion, guys. That is insane. Okay, you don't need several 100,000 anti-tank mines unless you're preparing for a major war. Okay. Wanted to just update you guys on the situation with Iran. So Trump posted this on his Truth Social account at 4 a.m. this morning. He wrote, "Iran can't get their act together. They don't know how to sign a non-nuclear deal. They better get smart soon." And then he's got this picture, a meme that says, "No more Mr. Nice Guy." And there's stuff blowing up behind him in the desert, and he's holding an AR-15. So Trump is losing his patience, is basically what he's trying to show here. Okay. And Trump told Israeli Channel 12 this morning that he will not lift the naval blockade without a deal that includes the nuclear program. Okay. And he apparently also instructed his aides to prepare for an extended blockade of Iran, according to U.S. officials, targeting the regime's coffers in a high-risk bid to compel a nuclear capitulation that Tehran has long refused. In recent meetings, including a Monday discussion in the Situation Room, Trump opted to continue squeezing Iran's economy and oil exports by preventing shipping to and from its ports. He assessed that his other options, resuming bombing or walking away from the conflict, carried more risk than maintaining the blockade, according to officials. Okay, so Trump is preparing for an extended blockade. This could collapse the world's economy potentially. We could see oil prices go up even further, and the situation is basically going to stay the way it is or get worse. So you guys need to get prepared. And Iran's parliament speaker said on Wednesday that maintaining unity was the only way to counter what he described as pressure from the U.S. Mohammad Ghalibaf said in an audio message released by state media that the U.S. strategy aimed to create economic strain and internal divisions through measures such as the naval blockade. The only solution to counter the new enemy plot is one thing: preserving unity, he said. Interesting. And U.S. officials say the conflict with Iran is unlikely to end with a nuclear deal, and that Trump is comfortable with an indefinite blockade. That is insane. And the White House says the U.S. won't be rushed into a bad deal with Iran to end the war and open the Strait of Hormuz. And Iran informed the mediators that it needs a few days to consult with the supreme leader before presenting a revised proposal to the U.S., according to U.S. media sources. Okay, so that's the Mujtaba Khamenei guy. He's got to approve the revised proposal because the first proposal was rejected by Trump on Monday. And the Houthis released a statement saying that they are not neutral, and they reaffirmed their support for Iran and Lebanon. And a senior Pentagon official said today that the U.S. spent $25 billion so far on the Iran war. And Trump has spoken to oil companies about steps to continue the Iran blockade for months if needed. This was reported by Reuters. Okay, so he's already met with oil companies. Okay, he's already preparing for this extended blockade. And Pakistan is expecting a revised proposal from Iran by Friday at the latest. And in a direct response to Trump's blockade extension, Iran warns that the U.S. naval blockade will soon be met with practical and unprecedented military action, saying patience has limits and that Trump's decision leaves Iran no choice but a punishing response. Iran says Trump is now searching for an off-ramp, having suffered significant losses on the battlefield and at the negotiating table. Wow, so practical and unprecedented military action. So Iran, they're not just going to sit back and allow the U.S. to blockade them for months. They're going to try to sink our ships, okay? And the UN nuclear watchdog, the IAEA, says Iran could still reach its stockpile of near weapons-grade uranium at sites struck by the U.S. IAEA Chief Rafael Grossi said the material is accessible if there's a wish, adding that inspectors have not visited in 10 months. Satellite images suggest most of it remains buried near Isfahan. Interesting. And oil prices have rose 5% in the last few days due to fears of extending the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. And the United Arab Emirates will be officially leaving OPEC soon on May 1st. And the Iranian currency has hit a record low amid the U.S. blockade. Okay, so the Iranian regime is going to feel desperate now if their currency is at a record low and they're losing lots of money. They could lash out and do something crazy. The European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen called for diplomacy to end the war in Iran and warned that the impact of the conflict could last for years. Wow. And Trump's approval rating hit a record low for his second term, according to a new Reuters Ipsos poll, with a 64% disapproval rating. Wow. And this morning and this afternoon, there was a hearing with Pete Hegseth and Dan Kane, the U.S. Top general, in front of Congress. They were grilled about the Iran war. And I want to read to you what Hegseth said, some of the main things that he said. He said that the U.S. is putting the defense industrial base back on a wartime footing. He said that the U.S. must get Iran to the point of giving up nuclear ambitions. He said that the biggest adversaries are currently defeatist Democrats. And he said that Trump's $1.5 trillion defense budget request reflects the urgency of the moment. Wow. And the U.S. Senate rejected a measure that would have blocked President Trump from taking military action against Cuba without congressional approval. Wow. So as things stand now, Trump can attack Cuba without congressional approval. I wanted to just show you an interesting flight here. We have a U.S. Navy, or I'm sorry, a NATO recon drone. It's probably a U.S. Navy recon drone, though, flying as a NATO drone. Took off from Sigonella, and it flew into the Black Sea, deep into the Black Sea. Look where it flew, all the way over here near Crimea. And now it's coming back to Sigonella, but it's squawking a 7600, which is a radio failure, so some kind of communications issues going on here. But very interesting. It flew all the way deep into the Black Sea, so potentially there could be something going on between Russia and Ukraine in the near future. And Ukraine's foreign minister, Andriy Sybiha, urged Israel to seize the Russian vessel suspected of carrying grain from Russian-occupied regions of Ukraine. That situation has caused diplomatic issues between Israel and Ukraine over the last few days. Basically, Israel purchased grain from Russia that apparently was seized from Ukraine. And so Ukraine feels like that's kind of a stab in the back to them. But that's what Ukraine is saying. We don't know if that's true or not. And Russia is expanding its mobilization and intends to launch further offensives against Ukraine, according to new Ukrainian intelligence. And according to a poll by Minuten, 52% of Swiss citizens will support the upcoming referendum to limit Switzerland's population to 10 million individuals. If the referendum were to succeed on June 14th, Switzerland could become the first country ever to officially limit their population size. Wow. And 2 Haredi Jewish men have been stabbed outside of a synagogue in Golden Green, northern London. The attacker was detained by a local volunteer security force, and the British police are saying that the stabbing of the 2 Jewish men in North London is being treated as a terrorist incident. Wow. And an Iran-linked group is now claiming responsibility for this stabbing attack. And Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK, is calling for an emergency meeting regarding stabbing incidents in London. And Japan Airlines is going to begin deploying humanoid robots for ground handling operations at Tokyo's Haneda Airport starting in May. So in the next couple days, there's going to be literal Terminators that are going to be handling baggages and loading them into planes. Wow, absolutely insane. And a Ukrainian drone strike hit a Russian FSB base in the occupied Kherson region on April 23rd, destroying 5 housing buildings, a canteen, an armory, and an ammunition depot. 4 vehicles were burned, with 2 FSB personnel killed and 10 wounded. Wow. And Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, is saying that Ukraine has effectively started exporting their own weapons to other countries, which he says have already proven their effectiveness in modern warfare conditions. And the U.S. will allocate $100 million to repair the Chernobyl nuclear power plant confinement dome, which was damaged by a Russian drone attack during the Ukraine war. You guys may have remembered that. So the U.S. will be providing a large amount of money to repair that. And the Russian Ministry of Defense announced that the Moscow parade for the Victory Day will take place without the participation of heavy military vehicles. So Victory Day Parade is where they celebrate the Russian victory over the Nazis in World War II. They typically roll out all their tanks and stuff like that. Well, apparently this year they're not going to be doing it, so that's very interesting. And Germany has approved aid for Ukraine for the next 4 years. Next year, Ukraine will receive 11.6 billion euros from Berlin. So it looks like about 11 billion euros every single year. That's a lot of money, guys. And the former South Korean president, Yoon Suk-yeol, was sentenced on Wednesday by the Seoul Appellate Court to 7 years in prison for obstructing an investigation and abuse of power. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be monitoring everything, and I will be updating you guys as necessary. Make sure you guys download my free app from the Google Play Store. It's 100% free, and I can send notifications directly to your phone when things are happening. Also, I did get my original X account back. That's at NYPrepper1. I've been posting over there. I do have my backup X account, which is NYPrepper1, and the links are down below in the description. But I will be back later on tonight with more breaking news. So until then, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere. And this update was sponsored by EMP Shield. Guys, EMP Shield has created a special discount just for you, the listeners of the NYPrepper channel. If you go to empshield.com and use the promo code NYPrepper, you can get 15% off your entire order. And why do you need an EMP Shield? Well, this is a special device to protect your vehicle, your RV, your solar generators, your radios from an electromagnetic pulse, which could be caused by a solar flare or potentially a rogue country like North Korea detonating an electromagnetic pulse weapon over the United States that's mounted onto a satellite. So protect your vehicles, protect your RV, protect your radios, protect your generators with an EMP Shield. Use my promo code NYPrepper to get 15% off. Installation is super simple. This is a veteran-owned business, 100% American-made, and the EMP Shields have been tested by the military, okay? And free shipping is included to the entire continental United States. And the link and the promo code are in the description below this video.